Hey, quick tip for you. The not so obvious reason why you suck at dieting. And we know for a fact there's a lot of people that suck at dieting, and maybe you suck at dieting, so this message is for you. Listen, if you're not even dieting, this message isn't for you, so you can keep scrolling along. But if you've been struggling, if you've been up and down the merry-go-round of diets and quick fixes, this message is for you, so pay attention. Real quick one today. It's the not so obvious. What do people think? Oh, I'm overweight, I'm out of shape, it's Monday, it's time to go on a diet. Go through the Rolodex. Which shall I choose? Pick this one. No, I'll do this one. No, I'll do cleanse. No. Maybe I'll just fast. No. I heard the keto is good. I'll do the keto. Let me do that. No. Let me do... I know I can go on Weight Watchers again. No. Let me just cut back on drinking. No. Let me just remove all the snacks. No. Let me just do like 1,000 calories, right? If I ate 1,000 calories out of it? No. You're missing it. Here's the number one not so obvious reason why. Because you don't know where you're at. Plain and simple. You don't know where you're at right now. Before you go on any diet, and reality is right. Here, let's just kind of cut to the chase. The reality is all diets work. Most people just don't work the diet enough to get the benefit out of it. And then they don't have a plan after the diet, because diets aren't meant to be on forever, right? Look about it. If you're on a weight loss program, you shouldn't be on it forever. If you're on a fitness program, that's a different story. But if you're on a weight loss program, you should be on it until you get the weight off. And then you can't just stay there, right? So here's a simple tip, just real quick. Before you do the Google search on Monday after the weekend of disaster, you let yourself go and you disappointed yourself yet again, and you even bought that app, and you bought that new Fitbit, and you even bought that piece of exercise equipment. You got that Peloton, you bought that a couple months ago, and now you find you're hanging clothes from it. Trust me, you're not alone. So let me just say that you don't have to worry about it. You're not the only one out there. I know plenty of people that buy all kinds of equipment, buy all kinds of shakes, and then they just stop. They just let themselves down, and the weekend comes, or life gets in the way, and then the promises are broken yet again. So let me just give you a quick tip. Before you go on any diet, just do an evaluation of where you're at. Well, how to do that? Very straightforward. Look at what you put in your mouth to eat. It's really straightforward. You don't need to be a nutritionist. You don't need to be, a medical doctor. You can say, okay, before I go on any diet, any kind of weight loss program, let me find out what I'm doing. One of the questions I ask when people get on a call with me, all right, so where are you at with nutrition? Kind of give me a little feedback here. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being your nutrition's dialed in, 0 being the worst. And then they usually give me a number, and then what else? Do you have any idea how much food you eat in a day? Do you know how many calories? Do you know how many macros? Do you count any of that stuff? Do you track your food? Do you know how much protein you're getting in? Do you know how many vegetables? How many portion sizes? How much alcohol? How many calories are you taking in from your alcohol? Do you have a lot of desserts? How much sugar are you getting in your diet? How much sodium do you have in your diet? All those questions, right? So before even looking at some maybe quick fix, if you will, or any kind of, really, for that matter, any kind of diet, just the not so obvious is to actually figure out where you're at. Figure out where you're at. And I'm not talking about, oh, Mark, I do really well on the week. Well, I don't know what that means. I do really well in the week, sure. I only eat organic food, sure. But if you're eating 3,000 calories and maybe you need to be only eating 2,000, how do you know that? Until you actually track what you're eating, right? And I'm not actually worse. My students don't even track calories. I don't care. We have a system set up. If you want to know more about it, just shoot me a private message. We'll get on a call, because at the end of the day, who wants to count calories for the rest of their life? Who wants to weigh their food? It's not sustainable. It's not a true sustainable approach. And you're like, well, Mark, I only have to go on the diet for as long as I lose weight. But most people, they go on, they get a little success, they get that feeling good, right? They lose 4 or 5 pounds, 10 or 20 pounds, and then they just go back to their old habits. Well, you know what? They didn't establish new habits. They just relied on the diet. And that's a terrible thing to rely on. Just like motivation, it's a terrible thing to rely on. So if there's a not so obvious, before you even go on any kind of diets or thinking of yourself, hey, I need to cut back here, find out where you're at. Find out how much you're eating right now. Journal, write down. Today's Monday. I dare you to journal from Monday to Sunday, and then send me that journal. Show me what you're eating. I have my students report to me on a weekly basis what they eat. That way we can adjust and modify, because guess what? Most people don't. They'll go on a diet, and then guess what? Holidays come around, and then guess what? There was nothing established. No habits were established, so you just go back into the old pattern. You go back into the drinking habit. You go back into binging on the weekends. You go back to the snacks. You go back to being lazy. You go back to not burning calories and take too many in. Next thing you know, you're right back where you started. The only thing that isn't right back where you started is now you're a year older. It's a year harder. Your metabolism's that much less. Your body has less muscle. Your metabolism's not just less, but now you're stressed out, because then all those stress hormones are taking over, and then you want to just crave what you can control, and then that goes to the snack foods and all the things that got you in trouble in the first place. Oh, so do yourself a favor. The not so obvious thing is to actually just figure out where you're at first. I bet you, if you right now are struggling, if you're stuck on a weight loss roller coaster ride, and you're right back up to where you were a year ago, or 3 years ago, or 5 years ago, and then you put it right back on, and then you maybe had a death in the family, which I'm sorry to hear, or COVID hit, and the next thing you know, the 19 pounds you lost, you put the 19 pounds back on. Well, guess what? None of my students, in fact, I just did 2 interviews today of students who are both thriving, and they thrived over this whole lockdown. Their schedules got all tossed and turned, but guess what? They had habits established, and they had accountability in place, and they had a plan, and they had a pair of outside eyes, and they had somebody who can guide and direct them through the storm. If you're going through a storm and you're not prepared to go through the storm, it's like when we have emergencies here and the hurricanes come. If you're not prepared, you're going to fail. The reality is, if you're planning to fail, if you're failing to plan, that's a sure enough way for you to lose. So before wasting your time, effort, energy, doing some sort of cleanse or quick fix or some sort of broken promised, dangerous medicine that's going to cause you to only eat 500 calories, and you take it in pregnant women's urine, pregnant women's urine, HCG. That's what that is. Basically, go look it up. If you're tired of all that, listen, if you're a mom or dad who's tired of it, please just stop. You can literally stop today. You could do yourself a favor, just figure out where you're at. Like, okay, I take in 800 calories a week in wine, snacks. So I added up my snack. That's an extra 2,000 calories. And then I eat a sensible breakfast. Well, you know what, Mark? I miss breakfast. So there you go. I don't eat breakfast. Cool. I don't care if you eat breakfast or don't. What are you doing the rest of the day? What's lunch? What's dinner? Oh, well, dinner, we went out. We go out like 3 times a week. Okay, how many calories? Well, I have no idea. It's at a restaurant. They don't have what calories are on it. Some restaurants do. You have no idea where you're even at. Why even bother going on a diet when you don't even know where you're at to begin with? So a bit of a rant, I must say, but I would say is today could be the day. Forget the diet. Go off the diet. Just literally take an inventory of where you're at. What are you stuffing in your face? How much calories? How much food are you eating? How little water are you doing? How little exercise are you doing? And then, here's the beautiful thing. Stay with me. And then make that shift and say, wow, I never realized that I was eating like 4,000 calories a day. No wonder why I put on the COVID-19 pounds in the last few months. That could be a good starting point. If you even need help from that starting point, or you need help beyond that starting point, because it isn't easy. In fact, it gets harder when we get older. You can go work out all you want, but if you're not changing what's going on inside of your stomach and what you're ingesting, you're never going to win. You're never going to get in better shape. You're never going to get the weight off. Oh yeah, you can go on, well, my friend lost 80 pounds in keto. My friend lost this in the new Noom app. And I did P90X, and that was, I know I did that 10 years ago, and that worked really well. But you know what? Your body's 10 years older, and chances are, if you haven't been doing anything, it's 10 years broken. So let's get unbroke, right? It's time to start winning at life. It's time to start getting back your health. It's time to start getting the weight off, developing the habits you need, and you can do that. It's not hard. But it does require 2 things. Typically an investment in yourself, meaning you have to actually spend the time. If you care about it enough, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. And the other thing is, if you don't know where you're at and you don't know what to do, well, I always tell people, if you know what to do, freaking go do it. If you don't know what to do, or you know you won't do it, that's why exist. That's why I've been doing this for 25 years, because there's people that won't get it done on their own. There's people that don't have any idea how to work out now that they're 50 years old and not 25 years old, because pretty much you could go do anything at 25 and get in good shape. You and I both know that, but it's different when you're now 2 decades older and your body is 2 decades more broken and your metabolism is also 2 decades slower, right? Does that make sense? So anyway, reach out to me, send me a message. We'll get on a call. And here, I'm going to say this again. Please don't bother calling me if you're not serious. Please don't message me if you're not serious. I am only looking for success stories. I only want to work. I've been doing this too long. I don't have time to waste with people who are just looking for another easy, quick way to get it done. Trust me, it's easier and faster and better than any other option if you're the right fit, but I don't know if you're the right fit unless we have a conversation about it. So send me a message. I'll send you the link right in the comments below. If you're catching this on the replay, you can also send me a message. Send it to a private message you want anybody to know about. It's cool. I'll send you my calendar. We'll get on a call and we'll take care of business. We'll make the next 3 months. We'll finish off the year 2020 strong. Who wants to finish off the year strong in 2020? I do. In fact, I'm going to get my workout on right now. Enough said. Talk to you soon. Take care. God bless.